For now, this is the last item, but I will continue to discuss products in world trade with you. The last item is drugs. Until the early 19th century, the most prominent drug was opium. However, at that time, opium was very natural and everyone was using it. In fact, they also consume opium to help children sleep better and to relieve toothache. It is available in the medicine cabinet. One of the substances used by doctors to anesthetize is opium. I don't want to describe it too brutally, but if there is an amputation or a tooth extraction, they administer such a high dose of opium that the patient can faint. Since people are accustomed to using it, their tolerance has increased and it doesn't easily get them high. The real significant harm of opium to humanity begins in two periods, 1817, 1824, with 1817 marking the introduction of morphine. Morphine emerges for medical reasons, but people use it for other purposes. In 1874, heroin is introduced. Just as we consider opium to be the beer of drugs, spirits are the heroin and morphine. The acceptance of morphine as a medicine during the American Civil War, Crimean War, and World War I. They administer so much morphine to every soldier injured on the battlefield that they know it could kill them. In fact, I will share a very interesting piece of information with you. I mentioned it before, but let me repeat it. The placebo effect is also invented during this period. In some fronts, morphine runs out. They inject saline solution into the body, claiming it is morphine. This makes the soldier believe that his pain is psychologically reduced. While opium is a plant, the psychological effects of morphine and heroin are significantly greater. Of course, I should also mention that we are not praising opium. By the way, I will also create a special video for you about the banning of the hemp plant in Turkey, its cultivation around the world, and the hemp file. In the 17th and 18th centuries, China's silk, porcelain, and tea were very important for Europe. The English are also waking up to this. Until the 19th century, opium was continuously sold to China through various merchants and ports bribed by England. The use of opium has become so widespread that according to some sources, 1/3 or even half of China is constantly in a daze. People are collapsing on top of each other. The Emperor of China writes a letter to the Queen of England. They are still debating whether this letter was received or not. He begs his people to stay away from him. And then the Opium Wars begin. The Chinese Navy clashes with the English Navy. The main reason for England establishing the East India Company was to exploit tea and silk in China, particularly tea, and to pay for it with opium. You are looking at the record from the year 1831. They supposedly sell 11 million pounds worth of opium to the Chinese. They buy tea from China for 8 million pounds. This account was not so fair because opium was not actually that valuable. At least for the English, they could exploit it as much as they wanted. The development of drugs in world history has been very ugly. I don't want to go into too much detail, but while England was the leading country in drug trade, the commercialization of heroin later led to the spread of drugs through various names, including LSD, which developed under American control, spreading through South America, and the Mexican cartels, as well as the Colombian and Mexican cartels. It has supposedly opposed this under American control. This is a completely different topic for another video. I am Haluk Tatar. Thank you for following this series on trade. I wanted to add a 6-part video like this as a general cultural interlude. If we expand this series, we will also broaden it to include the slave trade. I look forward to seeing you in the next special series. I wanted it to be like a mini-series. I hope you enjoy it.